We're live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of season 2 of Our Daily Magic. And that is to say that we're back. We've got some new energy. I don't know if that even makes sense.
Made sense in the moment because you said it. So now let's go into it.
And lots of new things to talk about. So, this episode is Dell and I coming to you from wherever we are. And I mean that not necessarily location wise, but also where we are on our journey, which is where we're going to start off in this conversation. I am really anxious to ask this question because there are a few things that we've both done that we could talk about. And one of those things is fasting, specifically spiritual fasting. What does that phrase even like mean to you?
I wanted to find out what it meant to you because you
Asked you
went into
first.
rock, paper, scissors.
Nope.
For me, fasting means a couple different things. And hello, Akila. Grand Rising, see you too.
Hey, Keela.
But fasting could be a lot of things. And while I'm thinking about that, I want to pull up the definition of fasting so that way I can get some context. Fasting definition. So this definition says abstain from all some kinds or abstain from all or some kind of food or drink, especially as a religious observance. So seem like that's just like the outer part of it, of like the drastic ones normally about like, oh, I'm not gonna do food or whatever, but hearing other people talk about like the stuff they do for fasting, let's say like Lent or something like that. And for me, what I think about fasting is letting go of something that you would normally be doing to allow the space for something new to show up for you. So it's sort of like a dedication to yourself of I'm letting this thing go, whatever it could be, food, TV, binge watch, Facebook, I don't know, unhealthy things, whatever it could be in your life, letting it go for this moment to be able to see what's the possibility of not having this thing to go to, like this addiction or whatever. It can open a space because what happens in that is you start to find out why you are going towards those things that you normally go after to maybe stuffing down emotions or to keep yourself distracted from being with yourself. And fasting to me is allows you to be with yourself deep. All the emotions from like a normal water fast when you oh my god, I gotta eat, I want to eat, and like you really allow yourself to work through those emotions of understanding okay, why am I trying to eat right now, and also finding different ways to fulfill yourself because food could be nourishment, but for me during a fast, I realized that there's other nourishments. I was telling you about that when I was just breathing in prana just to like test it out. Like, oh, if I fill myself with energy as I'm talking about, I'm burping energy. As I fill myself up with something else that's new, it allows me to start to receive something new. So that's my explanation of fasting. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. There were a lot of things that I gave up during the fasting period that weren't food as well. And um, one of them was watching excessive TV or really watching TV at all. And another one was, well, I guess I'll say that I took on some things also while I was going through the fasting process. Like, for instance, I was taking on my negative thought patterns. And what I would do when I would see them come up is that I would intentionally focus on, what I could be grateful for or something positive that I could see in the situation. And my intent was to really transform my thinking. So there were some things in there that I given up. Of course, the food thing. Ice for me was a big thing. It would put me into a big energetic process of finding the ice, eating the ice. Then I would get cold after eating the ice, and then I would have to do something to get warm again just to find ice again. And it was a big energetic, like, suck. You know, there was all this time and energy just taken for something that really wasn't even like serving me in the first place. So it's officially been 2 weeks since I've had ice, which was a big habit of mine. Um, so it's really interesting just to observe where the energy was going, like you were saying, and also to see what I was distracting myself from. So those were just some of the things that kind of like I used to create the parameters for what it was that I was defining fasting as. But what came up during that process was that's a whole other story. But first, you want to take us through some of the process that you went through. Like, how long did you do it for? What did you do? What did you not do?
What was it, like 7 days? And what I didn't do, of course, I wasn't eating food. So that's the main thing. Besides that, focusing on water. But the thing that was happening for me is because I do a very, um, what's it called? I do a deep meditative practice every day. So during the fast, it became way more intense because I didn't have any food or stuff that I was stuffed down in me, like blocking me, sort of. So I was just a clear channel. So with me going into the space of meditation, I was already meditation going to the space of meditation. That's the perfect way of explaining it. And also, I had that intention because I mentioned on was it or it was 2 episodes ago. I was like, I'm going to have this. I'm doing this fast with the intent of healing my back, which of course it helped with it. Was one of my intentions with it. But then I got deeper into it. I was like, you know what? I don't know where else this could take me, but I'm here for the ride, and I'm gonna see where it's gonna lead me to. And then I was telling you about when I had the mystical experience when I was driving in the car coming to New York, and it felt like I was like just out of body experience for about like hours. And come to find out, it was only like 2 minutes went by, but somehow while I was having a mystical experience, I was able to drive and navigate the space and where I was at. And then to come back to into that with that mystical experience, time started to slow down in every moment. But the cool thing that was happening too, by not having, I guess, the heavy food holding me down, was I was able to get to this place of observance of my thoughts and realize that every information or every time, every place I was going to, I was fully present, but I was getting information in multiple ways. My mind would always take something, information for whatever's in front of me or what I'm not hearing, and I'll process it in a certain way. And that part of me, they call it egoic structure, will process stuff a certain way, and they'll start saying things in my mind. But I was able to observe it instead of agreeing with it. I was like, oh, interesting. This information that happens. So that was a good insight for me that I'm using now way more of being able to observe things, but observe everything, including my mind, but now allowing my mind to take me on that joyride of that, what's it called to me? Take me on that egoic ride. But more so for me now, I'm the driver and was driving and have the kids in the back, have that egoic little kid in the back that says the stuff it says, but it's Let me kid be heard. Like, oh, good information, little kid. But it's also very interesting because that egoic mind is information brought up from all the experience I had in life. So it's also a very helpful information sometimes because when that part of me potentially gets triggered, there's a part of me that just wants to be heard. So whatever age it may be, and that allowed me to go deeper within myself too by just allowing that part of me to be heard. And it's one of those things that I hear so much about when people just like egoic death. You got to kill the ego. You got to kill the egos. And I always wonder about that. Is like, how can you kill something that's a part of you? But what you can do, and I like to call it the ego reset, is just resetting your relationship with it. And that relationship, and shipping your relationship with your egoic part of you, you get to be able to work with it. And that's what unconditional love is all about because you get to unconditionally love that parts of you that may get upset for what's happening in your life, but then you allow that space for whatever part of you, that age, to be heard, be listened to, and to be able to sit with that part of yourself and give yourself that attention and love that you may have not gotten or may perceive that you haven't gotten in that moment. And it's just bringing me synchronistically. I was talking to you about listening to Byron Katie and her practice called the work, but she was taking a person through the work in which this person felt like they was being ignored by their mother because they wanted attention from their mother and just wanted attention in general. And the mother was busy doing dishes and doing work. So the mother is, of course, busy in that moment and wasn't able to get full attention. But in that one moment, the person thought like they're not worthy and all these other things just because of what happened in that moment, the information that they received. But with the work, they was able to go back in that moment and was like, what did you really want in that moment with your mother? And it was like, I just wanted a hug or something. I just wanted a hug. I wanted to be heard. And this person went back in time with that part of himself and allowed himself to be heard. But then also they got to visualize the mom giving him a hug. But then also they was able to get the information in of like, oh, she was busy doing something else in that moment, but didn't mean like she loved me less or whatever. It was just she was just busy in the moment, and this moment of I needed something, but as a kid, I wasn't able to provide that to myself because I didn't know how to do that. But it's very powerful. It's a very powerful thing, and I'll just go on a tangent about that. Thank you, everybody, for the emojis.
Yeah. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Quadi. Welcome to the live stream. Really good to have you here. So, going back and doing the work and reconnecting with those parts of yourselves, how does that really contribute to your well being today?
Yeah, it contributes to my well being because I'm being well, and the cool thing about like doing the work, as they say, I call it fun play. It's like me going to my playpen, going to my sandbox, and cleaning up my sandbox. And what happens is I get to step into moments in a different way, like in these present moments of stepping into it as how it is. It's a brand new moment. Every moment's a new moment, and it allows me to be able to change the energy tied towards of um, perceive previous experiences and see them for what they were. They were just experiences to get me to the point where I am right now, but the emotions are coming up from me right now, so that way it can be able to be transmuted, to be loved, to be accepted, and all these other things. But the good thing about that is the well-being is I take care of myself. I'm being well for myself, and I'm filling myself up. And the way that it's helping me so much is I don't need somebody else to do something to be a certain way for me to feel acknowledgement, love, appreciation, all these other things. And it's like I'm good now, but I'm so filled up with it. I get to be able to give it to people unconditionally. And then what usually happens by just doing that, it just shows up. But it's like I don't need that anymore. And I had numerous experiences in life, including our relationship before, when I was too codependent on the other person or other situation or whatever to complete me, to make me feel good and feel these other things. And now, by me having a dedication, a pretty strong dedication for taking care of my well-being and doing the things that get me to connect more to myself, and also to do the things that help me to connect more with others in a way that I don't need anything. I just want to connect and see where you are in the moment, and also see how I can be able to help serve you. But it's been profound because every single moment of just bringing that presence, it just allows infinite possibilities to happen, because like I don't need this one situation to happen this way or this way. I'm allowing the infinite to happen. And I know in this infinite space, everything's taken care of.
Awesome.
As I sip my cacao. But yeah, that's like the foundation that's helped me so much now, because I have like a strong dedication to my practices, my connectedness, my meditations, my inner work, and having that time to do that and setting the time every day to do that more, everything else takes care of itself. And now it's at the point in which every moment's a meditation now. Like this, we're having an infinite co-creative space right now. We're just talking. I didn't know what was going to happen today. Just knew like, okay, we're just going to show up and some magic's going to happen because it's our daily magic.
Thank you. We're totally on brand right now. Appreciate that.
Yeah. It's really cool. And that's what my attention today as well. I thought about that. I mentioned to you before, I set attention now of just asking how I can serve powerfully today. And even stepping into this, I didn't know what was going to happen, but my intent was I want to be able to help serve whoever listens to this or whoever's here in whatever way. It seemed like it was an interview for me. Let me shift to you now. Talk about your insight that you received from your fasting, your information.
Absolutely. Love to. One more comment in there.
Oh, boom.
Your comments are gold. Thank you, Sammy. And hey, Jackie, welcome to the live stream. So I've done fasting, a few different times on a couple of different levels. The first time that I did it, I was 21, and I did 21 days of fasting. It ended up being majorly a water fast, but I think I had some like juice and stuff in the beginning, and then I got so like deep into it that the juice and stuff didn't even really like matter. And what the profound thing that I remember from the conclusion of that fast is that, it's just one of those days during the fast. I was doing a lot of sleeping, and I was on my couch in the middle of all of my blankets, and I was sitting on the couch like this. And I just remembered this feeling of being so content, like needed nothing, not food, not anything, not anyone, not to do anything, not to be anything more than I was in that moment. And that memory has stayed with me so vividly since then. And it was sheer bliss, but not because of anything. It was just there, and that bliss was just accessible from just being in the moment. And there were times after that, that I thought about that moment, and it was really interesting, when I started this fast, because I shout out to Rashidat, by the way, who leads a 7-day detox, which is just a tad bit different. the philosophy is based very much on nourishing, and getting the vitamins and nutrients that you need and giving your digestive system a break. And I had been participating in her fast, for 7 days at the beginning of the month for a couple of months. But this fast was different. And I have to say that there were just so many barriers that were broken for myself. And thanks, Keela. And one of the things was that I think Dell, I think Dell started first. We were like a little staggered, because he was, like doing some things that was conducive to a fast. And the idea hit me, like as inspiration. Like I felt like ready in that moment. Like, oh, okay, it's time. And that was how it would usually hit me. But what really went on for me inside was getting past my ego. I was like, oh, he's starting his fast, and well, does that mean that I can't do one too because he's doing one, or like all of these things started going on in my head. And it took a lot to look past that and get in touch with the part of me that was trying to reach me in order to let me know that, yeah, this fast is for me. And, not to be looking to external circumstances or external situations in order to give me that, that inspiration. So I had to deal with like triggers like Dell calling me a copycat, which was a really good like reminder of what had originally brought me there and in that moment. And that was to be in touch with me and to like myself and to look past or integrate, the ways that my ego was also communicating with me. So it was a bit of a challenge, but a really really great one because ultimately it taught me so much. So one of the things that I learned in the beginning of the process was that I thought that I was supposed to be a certain type of way. I thought that I was supposed to be productive. I thought that I was supposed to be happy. I thought that I was supposed to do a lot of things that were connected to an identity that was actually how I wound up being, not who I actually was. So being able to start to get in touch with who I actually am and discern that from the external stimuli that I used to use to determine what I was going to do next or what I was supposed to be doing during the day was huge, including how I was supposed to be feeling. So, that and also how I did my fast was a bit different than what I was used to doing. And for me, I ended up going into a period of like rest and relaxation. Whereas my days before were, very much about like a schedule and, doing and, showing up. And this period of time, these 9 days that I was water fasting, I think I had a protein shake somewhere in there. Um, these days were about withdrawing and not doing anything much at all. Um, maybe it's some like meditating and silence here and there. But ultimately, it was letting the me that I thought that I was supposed to be fall away.
Hmm.
And that definitely created space for new possibilities of me to be able to sense, like what was actually here, or even the way that I was listening to myself, and that was invaluable. Really, I mean, like happy is like an understatement. I'm just like so glad that I got I got the memo spiritually to just, to take that time. And I have to say that, even after these 9 days, it's like it's not like it's ended. It's just like that for me, those nine days were of intense focus, and now I get to integrate all of the things that that came up into my life. And I'm still very, very much, I don't want to say like the same space. It's like, now this gets to be my life. And that feels really, that that feels really sacred to me, which, brings me to the realization that, like, hey, like, life is sacred, you know or can be.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So what's this new life, or this life that you're integrating now? What's it about?
Well, I mean, I can't give a label to my life.
I know this is a moment because life's always shifting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We can't declare that we're gonna live life one way the whole time because you can never predict what's gonna happen. But I meant like right now, from this integrating part from your fast until you stepping into life, even deeper. What's the way that you're viewing life right now? But also, it can change in the second. It could change tomorrow. But like right now, how do you view life?
Well, there's a few things that come to mind, and one of them is pretty much what you're saying, which is like being present to each moment. Like each moment has all of these different possibilities and things that can be like communicating to me, and there is, here, I'll just give some more examples of that. I think there's a day that I wrote you a text message, and I was like, there's like these moments where instead of me feeling like I'm speaking, I feel like I'm being spoken through. And then, there are these other times where, and this was one of my intentions, is that, like, instead of me like actually like trying to do something, like it ends up like getting done, like through being like inspired in the moment. It's almost like I didn't even notice it getting done. It just like kind of just happened, and I was there. um and then there's this phenomenon of like coming from and being like nothing. There can be like, there has been, and there, for me, plenty of times where I'll go into a situation and there's already like these like concerns in the back of my mind, or this like dialogue that's going on, but to be able to drop that and to just like be nothing and have nothing there, so that the moment can be there instead of my judgments or my past or anything like that. And that is, to me, that's exciting, to go into each moment and to see what's, just to be there for what's there, not anything that I'm creating, not necessarily, or anything that, my past is predicting, but like to just show up in the moment to me is exciting because anything can be there. That's what I got.
That's deep. That's a good, what you would call a magical droplet for people that listen to. You just say
Magical droplet.
we got to get sound effect like bloop, 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 bloop. But yeah, showing up in the moment and letting go of the past things or whatever, and really just show up new in the new moment. And I forgot where I heard it from. I heard it somewhere in one of the many abundance of spiritual teachers out there. But he was talking about how like our body has new cells that are being replicated like every moment. So if you really look at it that way, we are constantly changing. We're constantly being new. And to even take it even deeper, the cells that you had in those moments in the past are already gone. But the cells take on information for our beliefs, what we think about ourselves, we think about others, and what we say out loud and what we think. They are receptive to those things, which is pretty cool because we get to like really dictate how we're going to show up on a cellular level, not even just a physical level, but a cellular level, which in turn would be an energetic level, how we can show up in each moment. Just a nice little nugget to add to your droplet.
True, but speaking of integration, how are you integrating?
I am integrated. I am integration. Integration is for me is always happening. When you think it's not happening, you gotta do some more work. And constantly it's because of who we really are, these infinite vast beings having a human experience, but the universe is always expanding. And it was like I don't even know where I saw it at, probably YouTube or something, but it's talking about the people who like study the universe had always come up and like, we have some new information. Like, yeah, no shit. Because like every moment the universe is expanding. But the cool thing about it is this coming to that realization that I'm going deeper into of understanding that we all are the universe expanding in our unique ways. So we're always expanding, we're always integrating. There's always moments to receive new information. There's also moments to be able to go deeper within this universe inside you and to expand it and bring it out. And the cool thing about it is with that universal energy tapping into it is everything and everyone around you have that same energy. And it was like the thing I was telling you about, like just sitting around, looking around and just seeing like all these different manifestations in front of you, like the universe expressing itself in these different ways. Like looking at the couch we're sitting on, this tapestry right here, the phone that we're using, this stuff, it's all universal downloads that's got expressed in all these unique ways of this co-creation. So it's pretty cool to like be able to like sit and see that. Even my shirt, like somebody just had this idea, like, oh, let me run with it. So it just shows you what happens. You tap in that energy and you just go with it.
Yeah, totally.
That was just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
But like I was saying before, this episode is pretty interesting because just wanted to see what happens of just showing up, no agenda,
Yeah.
just having a conversation. Talked about the fasting, but to bring it home for people who are listening, fasting doesn't even have to be like I'm going to stop eating for these couple of days. It could be this declaration like for one day you're just not going to do something that you normally do and see what happens.
Yeah,
Because
you've heard of social media fasts and stuff like that.
my social media duality, baby. I listen to spiritual stuff, but you already know I love like the ratchet memes, the funny memes that come out.
I did a fast of like not going anywhere. Like I had an addiction of like just going somewhere, getting in the car or buying something fast from like Amazon. It's huge for me. And to just, to be with that feeling that comes up when it is that, those things want to happen.
Hmm. By you stopping yourself, what happened when you stop yourself from buying or stop yourself from going out? What like new information you received from that?
Well, one is that in some cases, I didn't even realize that I didn't need those things. Like, I was convinced, like, in the moment, like, convinced I need to go or I need to buy. And this space opened up for me to see that I actually didn't. And
Hmm.
what that evolved into is a practice of just like holding off just for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Even when making decisions, oh, I have to decide right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you know, that extra space, you know, there's so much knowledge, there's so much information in you know, the spaces that we create for ourselves, that, you know, I got to be with more parts of me. I got to be with
Mm-hmm.
just more, and more became available.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I decided to do that thing, I had a more like well-rounded like intention around it, you know.
Yeah, and I just wanted to piggyback off you with that to go a little deeper with that.
Hmm.
This need, and to this bring it into another context. Like I need this external thing right now to come forth, or I need this external thing to happen so I can feel whatever it could be.
Hmm.
I want to feel fulfillment. I want to feel joy. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel love. I want to feel like someone cares about me, or whatever it could be. And all those things is just a temporarily fix. It's temporary. You're gonna feel it, but then like you don't realize, like, wait, there's something more. I need something more to this. I thought like this would bring fulfillment, and it's like a temporary experience. But now it's like I need more. I need more. And now I'm sharing the secrets of all these businesses out there, and they might shut us down.
Right.
Especially Amazon. Oh my god, I need this shoe. Oh wait, I need this shoelace. Oh wait, I need this shoe cleaner. Oh, I
Right.
need this. I need this. It's like, oh, you got this, and now you need this and need this, and that's like the nature of reaching for something external to bring you something internally.
Right.
You're gonna need more and more and more and more, and you'll get these, keep getting these temporarily like fixes,
Hmm.
but it starts to become an addiction.
Hmm.
And that's the thing that we never really look at, like it's addictions to like these external things to make us feel this temporary experience. But I started to, and it's just my own journey, but a lot of spiritual teachers say it all the time, is like go internal first,
Hmm.
and you'll find the abundance that you are of all those type of things. And
There was something about that I experienced yesterday, which was so cool. Speaking of like going internal, is that I was listening to. I had a conversation the other day with my mom. We were both listening to like rock music, and she was saying like, "Wow, these songs aren't just songs." She's like, "They're moods." I was like, yeah, this music that we're listening to, this is like from my teenage years. Like, this is what I would jam out to. This is what I would like be depressed to.
she had a mohawk,
Did not.
mohawk, the netted arms.
Oh my gosh. Did not. And so I decided that I wanted to listen to that music yesterday while I was driving in the car. And I listened to it in a different way. I was
Mm.
like, I'm not attached, you know, to what that music used to mean. So what was so funny is that I was in the car like singing my heart out, but I had made up different words. I was listening to like System of a Down, and I turned the words from like something, you know, that was like all like raged out and stuff like that, to like I'm so excited about life. And I made it mean what I wanted it to mean, as opposed to, you know, what it had meant before, yeah, or what it was intended to mean by the artist. I went inside and I said, how do I want to feel in this moment? And I said,
Mm.
I want to be excited about life. So that's what I'm going to turn this song into instead. And that's how I started like doing my life, you know, like going inside, choosing for myself, and then creating that everywhere else instead of looking and thinking about what it's supposed to be.
That's another magical droplet. Life is like a magical droplet. But yeah, what you just said, something external was happening, but you went within first to see how you felt, what you want to create it. And in the event of doing that, the external start to reflect that. It reminded me also, for me,
Wait,
I
before you change the subject, you're saying that the question that you ask yourself is like, how can you serve powerfully? Where it is that I'm on my journey right now is I ask myself, what am I creating?
mm,
And that's where that comes into to my practice.
To show up, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was still on the music topic.
Oh.
I was just talking. I was just going to talk about, for me, and synchronistically, I listen to Joe Budden still, like the old Joe Budden. But like at the time when I used to listen to him a long time ago, I was going through my depression stage of life and everything else. So like the music, like like it really helped me to be in the mood, the depression mood, and to like sit in the sorrow with somebody else who's been in that space or was in that space as well. But now I can listen to it in a different way. Like, yeah, he has some good lyrics. Like he, but also it brings me to a space of gratitude because I was able to have something to listen to for what I was going through. So it helped me to come to the realization that I'm not alone with whatever I'm going through. And that's something for everybody. Because usually what happens is like when you are in these things that are happening, you feel like you're the only person that's going through it. And there's always somebody else who's going through it. And sometimes people are going through it way worse than what you are. But to have like that type of support while you're going through it is pretty nice. But then also I can listen to that now and not get my or go back into that space. I can listen to it. Oh yeah, listen to some music. Which of course I started listening. I listen to the Gucci music now. What's that song? Oh, by Tevin Campbell, aka Powerline, the Eye to Eye song. And I sent you the message like, yo, I didn't know how woke that song was about like being in your heart and stuff. I was like, okay. That music was way beyond our time.
And perfect. Yeah. I mean, like we talk about all the time, the influence that things have on like kids and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's like it's there. Like Mr. Rogers woke.
Kyle sees, but it's so true. Like Mr. Rogers' whole show was him meditating and just being present because that's what he was. And like, what is like the first like 20, 30 minutes is like him taking his like stuff off, getting dressed, but he's so present and like talking and all these other things. But like, it was a journey. And then when they said like before every show, he used to meditate for 2 hours.
Wow.
This is crazy. But like, he just showed up in that way.
Yeah. What were some of the other influences? Gooch Troop, Mr. Rogers.
Power Rangers. Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm. What did that teach you?
That's a good question. Karate. But also acceptance.
Yeah.
A rat adopted 4 teenagers. 4 teenage turtles. Yeah. He took them as their own. So he accepted them.
Good point.
Yeah. It's a lot. Like you look at it in that type of way. Like all these different animals and stuff, and they stick together. They're cool with each other. Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, totally. Supposedly, there's like a book called The Tao of Pooh.
I'm trying to think anything else. I don't know.
Trying to think what it is that I watched. Well, I mean, I know that when I was younger, I was like obsessed with buying like those magazines that used to have like house plans in them. Because I would just turn the pages and like imagine myself in those spaces. And before that, I had Barbie doll houses, but no Barbie dolls.
Had the house, but no dolls in it.
Yeah, I just wanted to decorate the house.
Which is why you became an architect.
Yes. But like imagination, for me, is an out of body experience, and to really be with the things that we're creating That means that we get the opportunity to let go of this reality and to be in another one. So something as simple as imagination, and it comes in many forms: meditation. When things start to actually, like actualize, we call it manifestation. But they're all coming from this same source.
My question to potentially ponder, just let me know what you think about it, is what if we're not like going out of this reality, but we're just tapping into what this reality really is? Something that's beyond what we're seeing right now. This mystical experience and energy that's like stuff that we can't even fathom in our 3D concept mind. There's like all these infinite things that are going on. And it's like the conversation I think I had last week. I was like, there's my belief, there's infinite reality. So, for example, like I'm light skinned, you're dark skinned. I have a mohawk, you're bald head. I'm I'm the girl, you're the guy. I'm a cat, you're a dog. I'm a T Rex. This is all these different realities that are out there.
Right.
We just are tapping into those different ones by this like getting into that state of expansive visioning and really starting to allow the infinite possibilities to show up. It's sort of like the trajectories, how like every single moment you're shifting to another reality by what you do, what you say, how you believe, and everything else. It's like the butterfly effect.
Hmm.
Which is a movie I got to see again. I want to watch it, man.
That and one of my friends recommended watching the movie Dogma. I really want to watch that today.
Oh, that's really good.
I have not seen that. And here's another phrase that I love: in harmony with what you're saying. Um, my belief is that like these like the things that we perceive right now like don't actually exist. Like they're all just possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for instance, what you perceive in your world may be totally different than what I'm perceiving in mine. And that means that both possibilities exist at the same time, which means that there's no definite reality. There's only the possibilities that we're creating in the moment. That's just my logic.
Sure.
But, and also, even with like the nature of atomic structure, there are clouds of electrons, and there's the possibility of one of them existing, but there's not actually matter that, in the way that we traditionally think about it.
The clue.
The cloud. So there's a cloud of possibility. Yeah. So before I sat down on this couch, I could have actually decided that it was blue. And that would have been my reality.
That's deep.
What's up? Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Seems like we should definitely incorporate this more. Just to have like have episodes just being and talking.
Yeah.
We allow space for our guests to showcase their stuff, showcase and talk, and
Right.
co-create a space for that.
Yeah.
To have a space like this one, we can just be and talk.
Yeah.
I like it.
Totally. Totally.
And with that said, thank you for everyone who tuned in for this episode of us just kicking it. This episode is called We Don't Have a Title.
Right. Episode 5.
Yeah.
The unnamed.
And thank you so much. And we'll be back next week, in which we will have a guest on here to talk. And until next time, you can be sure to find us at
www.ourdailymagic.com. And of course, you can find us here in either Facebook or YouTube, wherever you happen to be catching us. And we've got lots of fun things, planned and unplanned.
Oh yeah, the unplanned is always the funnest.
Right.
So with that said, I hope you all are gonna have an amazing day, rest of the week, and of course, stay magical.